Today's word is stupendous.
You need some encouragement.
We really love listening to you guys.
You need some inspiration.
Love your podcast. Wonderfully inspiring as I think about my marriage.
The Stupendous Marriage Encouragement.
You're listening to the Stupendous Marriage Show.
Hey there, welcome to the Stupendous Marriage Show. Once again, I am Stu Gray.
Hey, I'm Lisa Gray.
This is a show where we answer your marriage questions at onair@stupendousmarriage.com. And you can send us a message, 615-592-1060.
Today we're actually going to do something a little different, just thinking and talking about seasons of life and some of the stuff that we're going through right now, and just wondering if you might be going through something similar too. You know, every year I get a word, and this year I got the word interesting. And so far, 2019 has been very, very interesting. A lot of things have happened. A lot of shifts have happened. In October 2018 to October 2019, I would say things have really changed. And one of the things that is changing for us is how we see money and how we see our finances. And the weird thing is we're both like in a completely new space learning this together. And I think at times it has caused tension between us. At times it's caused frustration. And at times it's drawn us closer to each other. And I think that's what happens in marriage when you go into a big shift in one of your main perspectives and trying to figure out how you handle that.
Well, and I think this is beneficial for both of us in the fact that we both kind of got here at similar times. We both started rereading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and we realized some of the choices that we've made with money and where we live and how we're handling money and debt are not the best way to do it. You know, hindsight's always 20/20. Yeah. And wow, we could have done this and we should have done that. No, 4 years ago we could have done this and we could have, man, why aren't we doing that now? And I think that caused both of us to go, well, how do we change it? And we're not spring chickens anymore. Neither one of us are 20-somethings. So I don't know. I feel pressure there. It's like, man, we got to get this done, got to get this changed because we've made some stupid decisions and we've racked up too much debt. And why are we doing what we're doing here? And let's pay it down and let's make a change, a big change. Let's do it.
Yeah, I see it differently. It's very funny, again, how we see things differently because I don't see that we made tons of poor choices. I think we could have made better choices. Like there are things that we could have done in 2010, 2014, 2000, that we could have done a little bit differently to be in a better position right now. Mm-hmm. And I'm happy with the choices that we made in the sense that I feel like the season, so a lot of what we're talking about is housing and how we live. And, 4.5 years ago, we bought a very nice house that we could start entertaining in. And we've really loved entertaining in this home over the past 4.5 years. And it has blessed us and it has blessed other people. I just kind of feel like that season is ending. I feel like, okay, the Lord wants us to stop that for a season so that we can start building something. And in order to do that, that requires some pretty big shifts in how we live, thinking about selling our current house and buying something different for a different reason. And so I don't necessarily look back at it as oh my gosh, we made a stupid decision way, way, way back then. But just now the seasons have shifted and we might have a little catch up. If we had made a couple decisions in 2015 and kept our old house and used it as a rental property or something, we might not be catching up like we are now in trying to do that. But at the same time, it's exciting. Like we're both learning together and having good conversations. And I honestly have noticed just even this week, I feel like we're on the same road, going in the same direction towards the same goal. And it feels so different to me than how we had been, because I feel like we had just been kind of in drifting mode. We both had, might do this, we might do that. We're no longer mighting, we're doing, and we're doing it together, which is very cool.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of things that I could talk about here. The first thing I was thinking was you make the best decisions that you have at the time with the wisdom that you have. And we made the best decision that we could in 2010, 2015. The big decisions of changes and moves and all that sort of stuff that we had at the time and where we were in life and blah, blah, blah. We're in a different season of life. We're thinking differently. We're older. We have a 14-year-old now instead of an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old. And so we can do different things, and we have a little bit more leeway that, some folks who have smaller kids can't. You know what I mean? We're making different choices because we can. And we were in that headspace 5 years ago. And then, I think doing something together always draws you together. I think, you pick the thing. We've realized that every time we've done some sort of project together, it does draw us together and it connects us in a way that other things can't. I'm over here working and you're over here working. Yes, we're doing life and we're in the house and we're mom and dad and we're husband and wife and we're enjoying one another. But I don't know, for us, when we do something together like this, it just it does draw us closer together. And we've always laughed and said, we're not project people. We don't do projects. We laugh because your mom and stepdad are constantly outside and they're constantly planting and they're constantly gardening and they're constantly doing something, taking down a wall, putting up a wall, putting up windows, taking down windows, all that sort of stuff. The list goes on and on. I think there's probably something that they've learned and there's a wisdom in what they're doing, being project people together. And we haven't done that, or we haven't called ourselves that, but perhaps we really are project people and that it helps our marriage when we do something together, we tackle it together and move in the same direction towards it.
I love the fact that we're dreaming together again, right? I really feel like over the past several years, again, everything's just kind of been on cruise control. Everything's just been doing the deal. Get up every day, go to work, get the kid where he needs to be, do all the stuff, have family time, go to bed, and start over. And we've just been doing the deal, and there hasn't been a lot of dreaming. It is funny because we do this show and we talk about, you need to have goals and you need to have dreaming. We are just working at it just like you are. Yeah. We do not have this thing figured out. And honestly, today I just wanted to kind of share with you what's going on in our world and what we're learning as husband and wife to encourage you in whatever way it might in your marriage. I love the fact that you and I are dreaming together and we're thinking about the things that we can build together and things that we can do together and where we want to be in 2 years and in 5 years and in 10 years. And not are we only dreaming about it, we're actually putting action to it. I've made a to-do list, and you're so funny. You have been kind of like doing stuff here and there, and then you're like, I need a list. And so since I gave you that list, you have been so self-motivated. Like I walk over and I see more boxes checked off, and I'm like, yes! Like it is so funny. I'm super proud of you for that. But having that list to look at and go, okay, these are the 1, 2, 3, things we have to do to accomplish this initial goal. And we're working at it, and it's not easy, and it's tiring. I came home last night and was like, I can't do it, and you're like, it's all right. And you let me sit while you did stuff. But I feel like it's just sparked something where we're dreaming again and we're actually moving towards something, which is really cool, babe. I'm so excited.
Well, your superhero alter ego, Lisa Gray Realtor, has these lists. So I was like, you've got to get me one of your stupid lists so I can do all the stuff you tell all your clients to do.
I
got to figure that out.
I know. So. It was actually very funny sitting down to put together a list for myself, but not myself because, I have on my realtor hat when I'm putting together those lists and then have to think about Lisa the seller. And her husband, Stu, and what they need to do. And so it's been very good. It's been, again, this year has been interesting. And I'm so excited to see it's October, what the Lord does in November and December, and how different we are at the beginning of 2020 compared to the beginning of 2019.
So, needless to say, in the next couple of weeks, we might have a day or two where our show isn't quite released on the right day. You never know. We don't know about that. And how can you dream with your spouse? What can you do together and tackle a project or something? We've talked about building a wall in a house. That's funny. We've done that twice in two different houses where we've built a different type of wall. The first one looked like it was going to fall over. The second one looks really cool, actually, in the new house. And, now we've got this new thing where we're trying to figure out what we're doing and how we're doing life and getting out of debt. And if it looks like changing houses again. And so maybe it's not that big of a decision for you, but tackling something together or even reading a book together and just going over it together, that is helpful for us in our marriage. You know, when we first got married, we read Rick Warren's book, The Purpose-Driven Life, and that was helpful for us. So picking something to do together so you start moving your minds together in the same direction. Sometimes it doesn't even have to be a thing that you're doing, but just like thinking about the same sort of things and then connecting on the backside of that can draw you together as a couple too.
We sure hope that today has been helpful for you. I know for us, it's just mostly a catching up thing and sharing with you where our world is and what we're learning. And if you are going through something similar, we would love to hear from you on air at stupendousmarriage.com. Or if you have an additional question, something else is going on in your world, we would also love to hear about that and to be able to email you back or be able to talk about it in an upcoming episode.
That's it for now. We'll talk to you next time.
See ya.